Good morning, everyone. I call to order the Design Review Board for February 15, 2022. The first item on our agenda is 8 Muchmore Lane. This is, is the applicant here or present?
Yes, hi.
The village? Yes. Go
Hi,
ahead.
good morning. It's Karen Hoag from Timmy Latham on behalf of the applicant.
Yes. Can you explain what your plans are? What are you going to do to H?
Sure. Sure. The property is subject to a CPF acquisition. So all structures and improvements on the property are to be demolished, and the property is to be restored to its natural state to remain as open space as part of the sale.
Okay. Okay. Do I have any questions of Billy Hayjack or Tom Parado? Any comments?
Good morning, board. It's Billy here. No, this is just a procedural step that the applicant has to make to demolish or raise the improvements so that they can effectuate the CPF purchase.
Okay. If there are no other questions, then I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Ann. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda is 50 Cross Highway. Is the applicant present?
Hello.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you explain the project here? Now, you submitted some drawings? Yes.
Yes, through Andy Triffett of Delamere Building.
Yes. And Billy Hayjack, what is your input on this application?
Good morning again. So I mean, the board discussed this at your last meeting. I think there was some confusion regarding the additions and whether the additions required relief. You know, I think the survey shows part of the house addition being within the setback. So it's unclear as to whether or not, to me, you know, I don't know, no new information has been submitted. So, you know, I haven't looked at it since the last meeting, but it appeared to me that part of the addition, requires relief or may require relief from the zoning board.
Billy, if I may, I could add to that, Billy, if I may.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, good morning, Robert and board members. So Kent and I had done a site visit after the couple concerns that we did have. And the survey is going to be adjusted, and they are keeping a portion of the residence. So such that they won't require a zoning variance. They will meet the required setback. The survey as it is now is really wrong. I mean, the surveyor showed it as the whole portion, the whole, I'll call it rear left corner of the building as being removed, when it will be purposefully left there as to not require a variance, and rightfully so. They do have that right, and that would be that portion will become part of the addition. So it'll be one long addition across there. The surveyor is changing that, I believe, Gary Benz. So that I don't know that we have it actually in yet, but that's been resolved, that concern. The other concern being was the new heated space above the attached garage didn't flow as it's needed to do so through heated space. And then they've taken care of that issue by adding a heated hallway to it to make it code compliant.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Okay, so the applicant, why don't we go ahead and resubmit an updated survey? And why don't we also, why don't you resubmit drawings to accurately show anything that might be missing, or anything that needs to comply with what we were just listening to as far as the flow and other items. I don't see you. Okay. The applicant?
Good morning.
Yes. Hi.
I'm Dale Overmeyer, architect, joined here with my associate Dennis Hornick. It's nice to be with you all this morning. I believe that Andy, I think, did give you the updated drawings, but you'd have to confirm that.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I will double check that. I think you could be correct. I'm not sure exactly what Kent has, but if that did take place, well, great. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, shall I just give a brief description of the work that we're proposing?
That'd be good.
Yes, you could, yes. Why don't you do that, and then after this meeting, you could go ahead and submit all the drawings and make sure all the board members and myself receive the drawings.
Will do. This is actually our 9th project for the relatively new owners, Perry Steiner and Vanessa Kay. They have lived in and around the village for years and years, and this is sort of their dream house, and they intend to be here for quite some time. The narrative of the house is really mainly defined 2007. It was architect Douglas Moyer that did significant additions and renovations to what is, as I'm sure you all know better than me, one of your significant frame structures. The things that we're proposing are really just a small extrapolation on the form that was really built in 2007, where the simple gable forms and the simple divided light windows, we're really just taking that idea forward and trying to even simplify some of the elements in the process. We're proposing one addition. The house is sort of an H shape with one of the legs being new in 2007. To that one leg of the new addition, we're proposing an extension. That's a 2-story extension. And then on the south side of the structure, there's an existing porch, and that is something that we're going to make a small addition to, and some manipulation of the form of that existing porch, so that it's a longer porch, but it's a more cohesive and a simplified enclosed. It'll look like a porch, but it'll be conditioned space. And then, so those are really the 2 additions. One on the north side, that's really just an extrapolation of the gable form that already exists. One on the south side, which is again an extrapolation of the 1-story south-facing porch. Then in and around the facade of the building, there will be a number of fenestration adjustments where we're bringing some windows up to code to meet egress. A number of the windows were, well, one of the things that I appreciated about the original design was that it really preserved the integrity of the skin of the shingle style with just smaller punched openings. However, a number of those punched openings being double hung did not meet egress code by only a small amount. So one of the things we were able to do is just convert some of those to casement windows that allowed the existing double hung window to conform. And then in some cases, we had to just expand the height of the double hung window just by a matter of inches, and in some cases a foot or so. On the addition that is on the relatively new wing of the house, the original wing had relatively low eaves for the second floor and therefore dormer windows. We were able to lower the floor of the new addition such that we didn't have to complicate it with any more dormers. And so it's even a simpler structure than it was there before. But again, picking up on the typology of the existing windows on the building. And those are really the main things. I think the drawings explain it in more detail. I'm happy to answer particular questions, but that's an overview.
Well, thank you. Any questions from the board?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
So all the windows that are being replaced are going to match the existing windows, and seems as if the stain will, be similar to what's currently there, to match the exterior, what they had before. So I think that's good.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So then you'll just resubmit the information to the board. And then at our next meeting, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll look at it. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you then. Thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is 6 Woods Lane. And is the applicant present?
Yes, Robert. Good
Bob.
morning, everyone.
Good morning, Bob. Good. Now, you submitted some materials, right? Some synthetic
The
shingles.
materials, Robert, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but the specific samples are Da Vinci composite slate roofing samples. Yes.
Yes. Did all the board members, did we all see this?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and Tom Parado, did you also see the samples? And what is your opinion on the samples?
I did see them. I don't know, how limited my comments should be as the zoning interpreter. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not impressed with them.
Yeah.
I think it'll form a contrived look, maybe perhaps too perfect.
Right.
And I don't know a lot about them.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a precedent you want to set, but I would leave that to you guys.
Thank you. And Billy Hayjack, your impression of the samples that were submitted and your overall opinion about them?
Well, I would just suggest to the board the design review regulations in the code, chapter 176, suggest the board determine the compatibility of the design and the materials. And when you're considering compatibility, it's the texture, the materials, the color, and their relationship to similar features or other properties in the historic district. And, when you refer to the guidelines, then, it's the intent that roofs that contribute to the historic district retain their character, meaning, I think, replacement of existing materials with the same materials is what's encouraged. In this case, it's a painted gray roof, wooden gray roof. I think everybody is in agreement that painting it might not be the best, although it achieves a certain color, it might not be the best, attempt at, for longevity of the shingles. But I don't, replacing it with a composite material that's going to look like slate, I'm not sure if that's the most appropriate thing, but that's for the board to decide. I would point out there are 4 buildings in the historic district that have slate or tile roofs. This is not one of them. So,
Billy, excuse me, but that's real slate.
what's real slate? The roof?
No. In other words, the 4 buildings you're referencing
Yep.
carry a true slate roof.
Yeah.
I understand.
Or
Okay.
tile. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't shoot the messenger in this one. This has not been an easy journey.
Yeah, I know.
And I appreciate the fact that you all appreciate that.
Thank you. And Robert, we know that you like you like traditional materials and you're an advocate.
I'm a big believer in the Secretary of the Interior standards for the preservation of historic structures.
Thank you
And
very
they call
much.
for like-kind materials.
Amen.
Exactly.
But
Thank
thank you, Dayton. But I will tell you this: this roof, these rafters, the structure of this house cannot support a true slate roof.
Yeah.
Just cannot. And if there's a way, well, why don't I just let's deal with the submission for the moment and
Okay.
and see what the alternatives are.
Cheryl Dayton, your input?
Well, I'm not too big on this rubberized plastic shingle. I don't think it goes in the historic district, for one thing.
Thank you.
And I would much rather see wood shingles put on the roof. That'd be more becoming in the historic district than some make-believe. If it was going to be a true slate roof, I think that'd be one thing. But if the structure isn't strong enough to hold the shingles, the slate, I would recommend that they put the wood shingles back on the roof and make it more becoming in the historic district.
Thank you, Cheryl. Any other comments from board members? Ann, you have any comments? Ann Duffy?
Yeah, I agree. I just think to set a precedent of using, especially on such a prominent house as you come in, of using synthetic material is not a great precedent to set. And that it should stay it should be if it doesn't hold if it doesn't hold the slate, if the structure can't hold the slate, then it seems that it should be a wood shingle to stay with the historic district.
Thank you, Ann. Kristen, your opinion?
Yeah, I agree. I was not really impressed with the shingles themselves and, worry that it doesn't really fit with such a grand house as the entrance to East Hampton Village. And my preference would align with yours and to keep it as a cedar roof, even if it's not painted, I guess.
Okay. And anyone else? Any other comments? Okay. Then I think that what we should do here is you should use the natural material like the wood shingles. Which it's in a historic district, obviously. It's the entrance to the village of East Hampton. It's the first thing people look at. They're always looking left at the pond. So, and when they look left, they'll see this beautiful white house. But I think in essence, because it is a historic district, because it's one of the important buildings as you enter the village of East Hampton, I think we need to retain the cedar shingle look for the roof. And we realize that it cannot take or hold the heavy dutiness of the slate roofs. I'm sorry, Kristen?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Then.
I mean, I wouldn't think of coming before the board and submitting an asphalt roof.
Right.
None of us would even think of that.
No, it would look right.
Oh, but the idea here is that we've worked to try to find an alternative that at least in appearance would look appropriate.
Yes.
But I completely understand Billy's quoting section 176, the like kind materials being desirable in so many ways. And I'll convey all of that back to the owner.
Yeah, well, Robert, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. I think we're all on the same page. Everybody here wants to maintain the look that we have in the village and to use a material that's really, I looked it up. I looked up reviews for these materials and they're unproven. Some of them warp, they crack, they do weird things. And we don't need to be 5 years into this when you just installed it and 3 years later, 5 years later, the roof is a mess. So
I understand.
Yeah.
So may I pose this to the board, that the owner make a decision regarding the installation of cedar shingles, and that the owner can choose between Atlantic white or Alaskan yellow, and that one of those will tend to age more with the blue tone that is similar to the painted shingle as an option, or that the owner paint the roof, the new shingles, so that it looks exactly like the current painted roof. Is that a fair assessment? Am I
Well,
taking
why-
this away correctly?
Why do you paint the shingle roof?
Well, Dayton, I wouldn't paint the roof. But I'm just saying that the owner likes the look of the roof and that it's been this way in the village for so long. So does the question come down to choosing Alaskan yellow, which will turn bluish like the painted roof and leave it natural so that it'll last a long time, or any cedar that will be painted? So I don't want to drag this out with the board, but I would love to try to get some kind of a decision. If it's going to be cedar, does it have to be the same color that it is now painted?
Well, it would weather.
Alaskan yellow will weather.
Yeah, well, so would the cedar. But if you paint the roof, paint a wood shingle, you're gonna have to paint that every couple of years.
Every few years.
Because it won't last.
I understand that.
Sidewall is something different, but on the roof, I don't know, I would recommend that they use a 24-inch royal on the roof. It'll hold up.
Yes, but not painted.
Can,
Don't paint it.
But don't paint it.
Just let it weather.
can I ask
Yeah.
a question? I just,
Yes, please.
how long has the roof been painted? Is it been long-term that that's the look of the house? Is it 20 years? Is it 50 years?
I don't think it's 20. Mangoni bought the house in 89. So I don't think he did that right away, but somewhere in that time period, it became a painted roof,
Okay, so originally it was just
a cedar roof,
a cedar roof that was
Right.
naturally aged.
pre-1989.
Okay, so that's really what it should go back to, is whatever color of shingle will take it back to a color that your owner, which is the more blue gray of the paint.
Understood.
I
And there is a
personally
type
would-
of cedar that would do that. I mean, it
Okay.
doesn't get exactly like that color, but it ages in a blue tone as opposed to a red tone.
Right.
Tom Parada, what is your take on this? What is your opinion?
I would think, it's always preferable to not paint a roof. I mean,
Right.
And yes, Robert does have a point with the Alaskan yellow. It does seem to get that bluish gray weather. And to Cheryl's point, 24-inch royals or something like that, obviously would provide a longer lasting roof. I'm sure we would keep this, you want to keep the same exposure line, obviously. So, yeah, I don't really have I would just say that I think it should stay for longevity of it, natural, without paint.
Mhm. Yeah. Any other board members? Billy Hayjack, any preference here?
I have nothing else
You
to
may
add.
have? I'm
I have
sorry.
nothing else to add. I have
Okay.
nothing else to add.
Okay. Kristen?
Yeah, I would prefer not paint, unpainted, just naturally weathered, personally, that's seems to be, for maintenance wise, and the look seems to be
Okay.
preferable to me.
Okay, I think it's a consensus here where the board feels that it should not be painted, and I personally think that to take cedar shingles and paint them is just wrong.
Waste
I
of
would
paint.
go, I'm sorry, Cheryl.
I could find better uses for paint than put them on a roof.
It's going to be a constant maintenance, and I just would never do it. Maybe you could. Do you want to decide now what shingles you're going to use, or do you want to come back to the board? What do you?
I would say that we will endeavor to use Alaskan yellow cedar.
Okay.
If it's not as available as traditional 24-inch royals in Atlantic white or red cedar, we will use a traditional 24-inch royal shingle on the roof that will not be painted.
Okay.
This way
I
we
think-
can get going. Yeah.
I think
agree.
that's an excellent idea.
Mr. Chairman, can we have something in writing for the file? I'd rather
Sure.
have you act on an application that I can
Yeah.
put in the file.
Okay, then why don't we, so Pam, then we'll go ahead and decide which shingle we'll use. Is that it? We'll have
No,
either.
Mr. Strada can fill out an application,
Oh, okay.
and then you can act on it at your next meeting.
Okay, great, Pam. Good idea. All right, so Robert, you'll go
Yes.
ahead and you'll file that application.
I will do that right away.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good to see you all. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments, Pam? Anything?
Nothing else.
Board members? Anything? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A
Thank you,
second.
Kristen. Thank you, Cheryl. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you, and see you at the next meeting.
Thank
Very
you
good.
all.
Thank you all. Thank you. Have a great day.
I
Take
Thank
care.
you.